I don't want to be too defiant. I'm certainly not looking to go to war with anybody. But part of me is kind of like, I would have never, ever been controlled opposition because I can't be bought and sold. But I would have had very, very detailed conversations with social media execs and say, what are you truly uncomfortable with? The way you say this. Okay, well, here's what I'm trying to say. Yes. Okay, so what if I said it this way? Okay, cool. Yeah. Let's work together. But they didn't want to be reasonable, logical actors. They wanted to just try and annihilate me, hoping I would disappear. And they're realizing in real time that I didn't disappear. So now I'm sitting here ideologically thinking, do I give a fuck what they think anymore? I only care about making sure my message is a positive for the world. Do I really give a shit what YouTube want? Now, so if they do let me back, yeah, sure. I understand certain things have to be created, et cetera, et cetera. But my messaging will remain true. The things I say, I do mean. They are genuinely a positive. And this could have been a positive experience for social media for me. How much money did I bring to social media companies? I'm the most viewed man on the planet. Not a single monetized video. They wouldn't monetize me. Billions of unmonetized views. How much money were they making? Yeah. Like, it could have been great for everybody. But they got emotional, sat somewhere in California, emotional, decided I was evil, and they decided to go the destructive route. So it's kind of like, you know when the Germans tried to negotiate with the Russians in World War II? There was negotiations at the beginning, and the Russians spoke a lot because they were trying to actually negotiate. And then once the Germans overstepped the line and took the piss and destroyed Stalingrad and took a bunch of Russia, when they tried to negotiate with the Russians again, the Russians only asked one question. When the German negotiators came when they were losing, the Russians just said, why are you here? Oh, well, I'm here to represent the Germans. No, 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 no. This is Russia. Why are you here? Where were you born? Berlin. Okay. Tell me the story. Why are you here? And after hours, you end up saying, well, I joined the army and Hitler made me do it. And I ended up getting here. Because once you've been fucked with to a certain point, it's just like, well, I don't know how much I want to negotiate now. Like, so as the social media companies, if they were to finally come to their senses and speak to me, sure, I understand certain messages need to be created. I understand that. But I don't need them. I no longer need them. There was a point where I perhaps believed I did need them. I now understand that I don't. And that certainly changed the negotiating table. Absolutely and utterly. Why is that? Because my messages, they've only proved me right. All they've done is prove me right in every regard. I have more viewership, more views, and more dedicated, more loyal fans than I've ever had. All they've done is damage their stock price. You're correct. Rumble's gone to the moon. All they've done is damage their own stock price and convinced everybody who believed in me that the Matrix genuinely doesn't want people to understand my ideals. They have martyred me. They have martyred me now. Yeah. So now it's going to be a matter of, yeah, I will talk to you about coming to your platforms, of course. But I'm going to say the same things I say. And yes, I'll create the messaging, of course. But we also have to have a conversation as professionals for you to understand that you acted emotionally and made a mistake. And it means a lot to me because I'm a principled man. If a senior, whoever, SEO exec were to say, yes, we made a mistake and we're sorry we misunderstood you. That's all it would take for me to say, no problem. I understand that. I'm going to create my message.
We know that's not going to happen.
Of course it's not. Yeah, because this is what happens with tyranny. When you have a monopoly, and this is the beautiful thing about the world because the world's so cyclical. When you have a monopoly over anything, you believe that your monopoly will last forever. Everyone always has. The Roman Empire did, the Third Reich, social media companies. When you have a monopoly, we're smarter than all the other control mechanisms and monopolies. We're never going anywhere. We're too smart. And the funny thing about monopolies and tyranny is that you have to use force. And force is something I understand very, very well. Force is a very, very powerful tool until it's overused. Let's use the Romanian example just because I live in Romania. It's the only reason I'm going to use it. There's a riot, there's a protest, you send the army. Get rid of it. Riot, protest, send the army. Get rid of it. Riot, protest, send the army. Try and get rid of it. They won't leave. Open fire on protesters. Too much. People have had a fucking enough. Then you end up ousted. There comes a point where you can use force, but once it's overused and people don't believe in your fairness, people don't believe in the fact that you're non-biased and you're still using force, there is a mass uprising. This is the human nature. I truly believe my banning was that moment in social media. The stock prices reflect it. My views on Rumble reflect it. The public sentiment across all social media platforms reflect it. People understand that they have overstepped the mark and they are no longer seen as trusted with force. You can't have force if you're not trusted with it. The reason we accept our governments to have police forces and guns and weapons is because to a degree we trust them. Once you accept your government is a psycho tyrannical dictator, you don't want him to have any force anymore. I think they made a massive, massive mistake. And if they don't see it themselves yet, they will certainly. The pressure is behind the dam. The only crack that's missing is for someone to be canceled and be more successful than before. That's all that it takes. One crazy guy in fucking Bucharest. And then you're going to see a mass flood. And I didn't want this war. I didn't want this. This is what social media companies forced me to do. But this is the situation they're currently in, whether they realize it and see it or not. But my cancellation has made me more successful than ever before. So now what? You shot me with your biggest bullet. I'm still here. What do you do now? And that is the responsibility is on them. If they can remove their emotions from disliking me and actually look at the chessboard, they're going to see they have a lot of pressure on some key squares.